Time for an oil change? Head to Jiffy Lube. We've got you covered. We've also got you covered when it comes to oil changes, thanks to Pennzoil Synthetic Motor Oil, getting you back on the road in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube. Leave worry behind.
This is the Best of Golic and Wingo podcast.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Welcome in. Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Mike Golic Jr., Trey Wingo here with you. How was the weekend, boys?
The weekend was wonderful.
Yeah?
Wonderful. Especially yesterday with all the sports. Mother's Day. Happy belated Mother's Day to everybody out there. Mike was over the house yesterday with his mom. Jake was in town.
You did good stuff?
Well,
you did good stuff?
Yeah, no, got brought over some treats for Mom, made sure she felt nice and cared for on Mother's Day. It's nice to be able to come in here and say Happy Mother's Day in front of a microphone because it's the only way you can differentiate amidst a sea of Mother's Day
right?
Instagram posts.
Yeah, what she wanted to do for Mother's Day with me was go do a 90-minute workout at Orange Theory.
How'd that work out?
Good God. Well, you know what? It put us in a great prone position to watch all the sports that were going on yesterday afternoon. You know, kicking it off, I know you weren't involved in it, but we were from the Notre Dame side of it. Notre Dame lacrosse, first round of the NCAA championship. Notre Dame lost to Denver. Yeah. But then obviously the golf. And the Celtics playing, whooping up on the Cavs, and then the hockey last night. Washington, about that. So a whole lot going on, a whole lot of sports watching. You golfed in a tournament this weekend, did you not?
I did.
A member? The only reason that I wasn't your partner?
Yes, because you're not a member.
I'm not a member?
Yeah. But, every time I say, do you want to play, your answer is
no.
There you go.
I just want to be asked.
There you go. By the way, I'm wearing one of those Mizzen and Main shirts that Phil wore on Thursday.
I worked out well for him.
Yeah.
Thought.
It feels good. Stretchy. Nice.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm never going to do in it?
Yeah.
Play golf.
You had a golf tournament this weekend. Did you golf in that?
I did not.
Yeah.
And I won't.
And you still played bad, huh?
There you go. All
right, here we go.
It wasn't the shirt.
So it's more about you.
It's more about the swing than anything else. We've got lots to get into today. We got game one coming up tonight of what a lot of people think is the actual NBA Finals, the Western Conference Finals between Golden State and Houston. We've got to figure out what happened with the Cavs against the Celtics, or was it just the Celtics were a much better team? We got into that. Tiger Woods had a good showing over the weekend as he had a 10-under weekend Saturday, Sunday.
But Webb Simpson won.
Simpson came away with a thing. It's like the Shohei Ohtani
exactly
story.
Right there we're going to get to, yeah.
Shohei continues to show out. The Yankees continue to stay red hot. We got lots to get to, people, so let's start it off.
It's time for Off the Top.
Whether you like it or not,
it's just beginning.
With Golic and Wingo.
And we start off the top with Boston doing what they've done basically this entire season. Taking care of business. The Celtics ripped off a 25-2 first quarter run and went on to take game one of the Eastern Conference Finals, 108-83 over the Cavs.
Yeah, listen, they looked fantastic. The Cavs didn't. Cavs weren't hitting any shots. LeBron had more turnovers in 7 than he had in shots made at 5. He was getting his pocket picked a few times here. Not shocking. We've seen other game ones like this for Cleveland. The only thing it cost me was the fact that I picked them on Friday, so I could have had a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Instead, I got nothing. The big thing to me, not so much the 25-2 run in the first, because we've seen that before. We've seen teams go down. In this case, the Celtics were up by as much as 29. But at the end of the fourth, as I was watching the third quarter end, I said, you know what? If they can get it within 15, maybe they can make some kind of run.
And they got it to 14.
What was it? It was 14 going into the fourth, and you thought, okay, how you come out in the fourth quarter? 7-0 run by the Celtics, snuff that out. All of a sudden, by 6 minutes left in the game, LeBron was on the bench and it was done.
Yeah, this one, I don't know, to me, there's not really a lot of original analysis left for this situation because we've seen it so many times before from LeBron. It's a very clear indicator of the stuff people always don't want to acknowledge as athletes, that time off can have some side effects. When their team shoots 0 from 3 in the first half in a group that, especially for the other Cavs, thrives on that, it's kind of an indication that you've gotten out of that shooting rhythm that you were in at the end of last series. And, oh, by the way, the Celtics aren't afraid of you the way Toronto was.
Yeah.
No,
that's true.
They're not in the head. The Cavs aren't in the heads of the Celtics like they certainly were with the Raptors. By the way, you mentioned the start of the fourth quarter. Did you hear this? LeBron's breakdown?
Oh, man, that was unbelievable.
So here's what happened, because, again, they got it within 14, and then the Celtics ran away from it there, and LeBron was asked about this after the game.
The start of the fourth, I think they cut it to 14. Do you have any idea I think they scored 7 quick ones. What happened there?
What happened? We ran them the first possession. We ran them down all the way to 2 on the shot clock. Marcus Morris missed a jump shot, followed it up. They got a dunk. We came back down. We ran a set for Jordan Clarkson, and he came off and missed it. They rebounded it, and we came back on the defensive end, and we got a stop. They took it out on the sideline. Jason Tatum took the ball out, threw it to Marcus Smart in the short corner. He made a three. We come back down, missed another shot, and then Tatum came down and went 94 feet, did a Euro step, and made a right-hand layup timeout. There you go.
And that's literally what happened.
It's literally
play by play.
Got absolutely an ovation from the media in that one. Something else. Nice memory.
That was very solid.
There's no shot I would have remembered that.
Got his teammate's name wrong.
Yeah, he did. That is true.
Yeah.
Can we really be that impressed?
And he made everybody forget about the fact they got smoked for that 30 seconds.
I was going to say, this is a carefully well-crafted parlor trick that he probably thought of in the third quarter as they were getting routed.
Yeah, you need something. Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, give it up for Marcus Morris, who said he's going to be the best defender of LeBron since Kawhi Leonard, and he certainly was.
He did a nice job.
He took him out of his game, and that's what everybody's talking about. Brought to you by Lowe's. Pros in the know. Start with Lowe's. Go to lowesforpros.com.
Oh, yeah. Off the top.
Meanwhile, the Washington Capitals, finally, it looks like Washington, D.C. may have something to celebrate sports team-wise. They scored the final 5 goals and beat Tampa Bay 6-2 in Game 2 of the NHL's Eastern Conference Finals.
Evgeny Kuznetsov, he gets a power play goal with 3 seconds left in the second. He also had 2 assists. The Capitals has scored a power play goal in the final 10 seconds of a period in both games. Ovechkin had a goal and assist. He had 10 goals this playoff. John Carlson had 2 assists. He has 14 points this postseason. It's a record for Capitals for defensemen in a postseason. They're just, they're on the road as well. That's a key. They're going on the road. So you wondered, would there be that hangover? We finally got past the Penguins. Okay, now we're happy to be here. We're going to do something about it. They go to Tampa Bay, and they take the first 2, and they look really good in doing it as well. Maybe they just didn't need to have the best record in all of hockey like they normally would and then not win.
Yeah, you avoid winning the President's Trophy for a season, and good things will finally happen to you. The Houston Rockets really looking at this and hoping they can follow this game plan as well. But if you're the NHL now, too, this kind of has to be your rooting interest because you're looking at the Vegas Golden Knights in a 1-0 hole over in the Western Conference. If you lose your best story from the season going into the Stanley Cup Finals, I feel like the best alternative would be Alexander Ovechkin and a chance to finally crack into that rivalry that's been pretty one-sided between him and Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, look, this is the chance for one of the best players in the sport to finally be able to shine on that stage, which he has never done. You mentioned on the road, the Caps 7-1 on the road this postseason, tying the team record for road wins in a postseason set by the 97-98 squad, which did make it all the way to the Stanley Cup Final.
Off the top.
Well, Webb Simpson actually won the event. Let's just be clear about that.
Yes, he did.
Webb Simpson was the winner.
Webby
shot a 173 on Sunday to win the Players' Championship by 4 strokes. He also won the U.S. Open in 2012 over at the Olympic Club in San Francisco. He became the 9th player to win both the U.S. Open and the Players' Championship. Of course, another guy's done that. His name is Tiger Woods.
Yeah, Tiger Woods, y'all.
Yo, and he did pretty well.
Yeah,
10
he
under
did.
on the weekend.
Listen, Webb Simpson, he was up by 7.
Started around 7
up. So he would have had to. He would have had to come back to everybody. Nobody was going to catch him, and he didn't. He played some safe golf. I never saw a guy with a 7-stroke lead talk to his caddy so much before every single shot.
Seemed like they were bickering a lot,
It did.
too.
It seemed like they were. It really did. They pulled out so many pieces of paper in diagramming things, but hey, it worked for him to get this win. But certainly the story was the fact that Tiger Woods just barely made the cut. He and Spieth at 1 under.
Right.
And then they both went on, especially Tiger went on to have a monster Saturday. Had a shot to tie Webb Simpson, who hit the course record this weekend as well. He played extremely well. He played well. Did Tiger on Sunday, drop back a little bit at the end. Webb Simpson, it got to within 4. Couple people, Tiger was one of them, got up to tied for second, but Simpson gets the win. Tiger looked really good, which means he'll probably be the favorite in the U.S. Open. Because that's how it works.
Round and round we go, and we got great weekend Tiger. He was 10 under on the weekend. He was tied for the best score on the weekend with Jason Duffner, and this is where it gets interesting. I heard an interesting assessment from Michael Collins on Saturday talking about the difference between Tiger on the weekend and Tiger during the week.
Yeah, we have a lot more to get to after we finish off the top there with that on Tiger. I thought that was really interesting, too. We'll play that sound for sure. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And we are presented by Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycle, RV, and more. RVs and more at Progressive.com. As we continue,
Off the top.
let's do a little baseball.
Here's the next delivery, and that one is chased and missed, and that's how the inning will end. A splitter gets Rosario, struck him out. Ohtani with strikeout number 11, one shy of his career high.
That the call on Angels Radio AM 830 is Shohei Ohtani racked up 11 strikeouts, including 5 in a row, and only allowed 3 singles, yet was denied his 4th win after he left to a standing ovation following a 9-pitch walk in the 7th.
He joins Kerry Wood and Carl Spooner back in 1954. Wood in 1998. There you go. As the only pitcher since 1893 with multiple 11 strikeout games and first 6 career pitching appearances. And here we go again. The last time we were talking about Shohei, and he deserves to be talked about, the game was won on a walk-off by Zach Cozart. That was a while ago. Well, guess what happened last night? Zach Cozart had a walk-off single with nobody out in the 9th. So we're talking about Shohei, but I'm going to make sure we talk about Zach Cozart as well, because he's the one who ended the game in an actual win.
Yeah, no, we always remember the dynamic duo of Ohtani and Cozart, so we'll be looking forward to talking about that for years to come.
Listen, I'm all about Zach Cozart and the great things he's done, but he doesn't have a song on this show, and the other guy does.
I want you to Shohei the way.
And that will never get old. For us, anyway.
Yep.
Off the top.
And we finish up off the top with the Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets beginning the Western Conference Finals on Monday. As of Sunday night, Warriors were 1-point underdogs, and that is a first.
Well, Trey, I have a second spectrum stat for you. That I think really says it all. It's the Curry-Durant two-man game. There are over 750 variations of plays league-wide that were run at least 90 times in the regular season, which include pick and rolls, isolations, post-ups, handoffs, etc. Durant screening for Curry ranked as the second most efficient combination, averaging 1.24 points per chance. The one that's number one? The tops?
Yeah.
Chris Paul, James Harden.
That is crazy stuff.
They're averaging 1.25 points per chance on 93 occurrences, where Curry and Durant, it's 218, so they have more occurrences of it happening with their points, and less, but more points, and even though less occurrences.
More points.
Second Spectrum did that.
Second Spectrum all the way, baby.
Go.
I like that you guys have become Second Spectrum guys, by the way. This is another solid bit of Miyagiing on my part.
Trying more, doing like a mocking. But
no, I mean, you know what? You mockingly are getting their content in pretty much every day now. So I'm excited for you guys that you've recognized the glory that is Second Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm just doing it for the sounder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I understand. Your motives are very pure in this, at least, which is nice.
Yeah.
But interesting note in Vegas about one particular book and the relationship between this series and how it's affected the payouts already for people that have bet on Golden State. Did you guys read any of that?
No.
So one of the Golden Nugget, one of the books in Vegas, the owner of that particular book is also the owner now of the Houston Rockets, bought them in September.
Okay.
And so that means that they couldn't accept any bets because it was a conflict of interest.
Gotcha.
So anyone that bet on the Golden State Warriors at the start of the season to win the Western Conference Finals has already won, because they can't declare Houston the winner of this series. So you can already come and collect your bets for Golden State as your Western Conference champions, because technically they're going up against no one in that particular book right now.
Wow. Now that's a cool stat.
Second
right there.
Spectrum.
I like
was that Second Spectrum
No,
stat?
it's not.
No, that was just
you know what that is?
Spectrum.
That's a golden nugget.
There you go. There you
yeah.
go. Well, for that you deserve.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I mentioned one thing. I got to get it in. They're a 1-point underdog. That's the first time.
Right.
Golden State has never been an underdog in a game in which Kevin Durant, Steph Curry both played for the Warriors. So we'll see how that plays out tonight. Okay, that was off the top, but now it's time for Straight Talk. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. And again, kudos, huzzahs, and all praises to Webb Simpson for actually winning the event.
And also, because I know where this is going to go, congratulations also to Justin Thomas.
Yes.
He is now the new number one in the world. He finished tied for 11th. Dustin Johnson, who was number one, I think finished tied for 17th.
Yeah.
So, Justin Thomas, your new number one in the world. But now we talk Tiger.
Yes, we do, because Tiger and Justin Thomas actually both finished tied for 11th.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, he made the cut on the number. At 1 under, and then, of course, he went nuts on Saturday, and then he started out Sunday on fire, too. At one point, made 3 birdies in the row, got to within, I think, 4 shots of the lead or 5 shots of the lead before Webb Simpson had even really teed off. And then had an unsightful, missed a 7-foot birdie putt on 12, then had a bogey on a really crazy bogey from the middle of the fairway on 14, and then rinsed it on 17 going into the water. But he gave us a hit of the good stuff. He gave us a hit of the good stuff, and it felt like we might be closer and closer because, look, we had the Valspar earlier where he played pretty well, but this was another level. The Players' Championship, the top 50 players in the world were all there. In this field, and it was a true test. The Players' Championship is always called the 5th major,
right?
But this was a solid effort, and Tiger knew that his game is getting to where it needs to be, and he talked about it after the round, including what he did on Sunday. That was like the highest number he could have shot.
It really is. I didn't play particularly well on the first couple of days, but I turned it around this weekend, and I got it rolling. I hit the ball well, I controlled it, and I made some putts. I knew my putting was right around the corner. I knew I was close because I hit good putts that just didn't go in. It was just a matter of time, and this weekend was it.
Well, he's right about that. On Friday, he missed like 4 straight inside of 15 feet, and nothing went in. Everything went in on Saturday, and almost everything went in on Sunday. So as we are seeing a little bit more from Tiger, do we feel a little better about his chances now going forward at the U.S. Open?
Listen, I said it before, and I'll continue to say it. I hope he wins. I hope he wins a tournament. I'd love to see him win a major. I don't think he's going to because, this needs to be 4 consistent days. And listen, how long was he playing or waiting on Friday to see if he made – that cut was at 2 under. For a while.
Yep.
And he caught a break coming to the end of that where it went to 1 under, and got in. And then he was incredible on the weekend. But he was very close to being out. But they said, again, close only counts in horseshoes. So do I think he's playing better and he looks better? Yeah, without question. But I still don't think he's going to win another major.
I was probably the most hopeful coming off of this weekend just because of his own self-assessment. Tiger's a guy who understands winning golf at the highest level, and he's coming out of this saying, I understand the score didn't reflect it, but man, I played really great golf on Sunday. I did the things process-wise throughout my day that net you great golf. I'm also the most dismayed, and I know we're going to get to this Michael Collins sound at some point, but his assessment of this and kind of understanding that and seeing the round and his season so far through that lens will actually have you feeling kind of disheartened because the secret sauce of Tiger Woods is at stake.
Yes, it is. And to that point about Michael Collins, we had him on, Friday? He was great, always entertaining. This is what he said. He was talking on SportsCenter to Michael Eaves about the difference between Tiger Thursday and Friday so far this year and how he plays on the weekend.
Tiger Woods on Thursdays and Fridays, 16 rounds, is +3. Over the weekend, if you count this Saturday, Tiger is -24. Now, it's funny. I talked to another tour pro who asked that I not use his name, and I just said something to him to verify what I was thinking, and he said he was thinking the exact same thing, and it's this. They think, and I think, that the reason Tiger doesn't play well on Thursday and Friday is because he's too invested. He's trying way too hard. Yes, he makes the cut on the number, but by the time he gets to the weekend, he's so far out of it, guess what he gets to do? Play loose and relaxed. And guess what Tiger Woods is when he's loose and relaxed? The best golfer out there, which he proved on Saturday.
And now he's 27 under with this 3 under round on Sunday. 27 under on the weekend this year and just 3 over on the first 2 days.
I mean, understand where he came from. He was, 69th after the first day, 68th after the second day, just making the cut. Then he was tied for 11th going into Sunday. And at one point, this is what made this the most exciting thing sports-wise going on Sunday because Game 1 with Celtics and Cavs was a blowout, and Washington and Tampa Bay turned out to be a blowout as well. And the hockey at night he was in second at 14 under, and Simpson had given one back. He was at 18 under.
Yeah.
So for a while, there was 4 with some holes to play. Again, you could see Tiger if he could make a run, but Simpson was going to have to do some work as well and not play as well. And it turned out going the other way for them. But for that brief moment, you were like, wow, he's making this run. How close can he get?
And then, as soon as he got there, bogey on 14, double bogey on 17.
And missed a birdie on 16, which is the easiest hole in the golf course.
So is the pressure, how about that?
That's the most interesting takeaway I got from Michael Collins. And when you realize that wow, Tiger, forget the back end pressure that we used to watch him thrive in. Tiger Woods' essence as a golfer, boiled down, all of his greatness is the fact that he was able to put himself inside these pressure-packed situations and see calm. Where everyone else panicked, where they all succumbed to the pressure and influence of Tiger Woods on the golf course, he now in those situations seems to be the one wilting. And if you have that as part of the equation for Tiger Woods, he will never be back in the way that we want Tiger to be back, because without that, he's just like every other very good golfer.
Here's what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Let's go back and look at the last time he was really in contention on a Sunday. That was at Bay Hill. He got to, I think, within 1 or 2 strokes of the lead, and he was playing the 16th hole at Bay Hill, which was the easiest hole on the golf course. And what did he do when he needed to make a birdie or an eagle on a par 5? He yanked that driver out of bounds. Same situation. He got close, and he was there. It's those crunch moments that he's got to get
I think this is true, but you're going to know because you have the Tiger file.
Yeah.
In all of his majors, he never came from behind, did he? He always started either tied or in the lead, correct?
He has never come from behind to win a major.
So, I mean, there's something there as well.
And now you see it manifesting on the front end where we're saying, all right, this guy is wound so tightly during the first couple of days when he knows something's at stake that he can't even get through that playing the best kind of golf. How can we expect him to then go back and do something he's never done, to your point, in his career?
Well, he's come back to win tournaments many times.
I'm talking the majors.
I'm
talking majors.
He's never a couple years ago, he was 5 strokes back at Bay Hill and came back to win going into the final round.
All we care about is majors.
Never at a major, no question.
Golic
and Wingo.
and Wingo.
Mm-hmm. Trey Wingo and Mike Golic Sr. Brian, good morning. Thanks for being with us. How critical do you think it was for the Celtics to take Game 1 of this series?
Oh, yeah. I mean, much more critical for the Celtics than it was for LeBron and the Cavs, just because of coming off the momentum of that Philadelphia series. And one thing, you try to establish some type of dominance, some type of defensive game plan against LeBron. And so far, right, the box gets checked, as in they got it done the first game. Do they expect LeBron to make adjustments? Do they expect LeBron to play better and the Cavs to play better? 100%. But you got to be up 1-0, especially when you have that home court advantage.
And you got to give a tip of the cap to Marcus Morris, who said before this series started, hey, I'm going to be the best defender on LeBron since Kawhi Leonard, and he went and did it in Game 1.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that people have to understand when you're going against LeBron, I want to put Kevin Durant also in that category, is guys that you have to go at LeBron. You can't be afraid of challenging him when LeBron is on the defensive end of the floor. And, we've been around Marcus Morris all year long, so he's a very, very confident player. Like, he thinks he's LeBron. He's up for the challenge of doing this. So if you let LeBron sort of play that free safety, play that middle linebacker on defense, he is a special, special player, and he calls everyone's sets out. He knows how to roam. He knows how to break things up. But if you make sure he guards guys, that's the best way to stop him on the other end of the floor.
So as we've seen this happen in Cleveland in Game 1 before, maybe not by this much as many times, but we all know what's coming in Game 2. We all know what LeBron is going to try and do in Game 2. So what did you see in Game 1 for the Celtics that you think can carry over to Game 2 when you're going to get the Cavs' best punch?
Oh, I mean, we could talk about a lot of things like, hey, they did a good job. They were physical with LeBron. They pulled their hands back. They didn't put themselves in a position where sometimes in the NBA you have those 50-50 calls that tend to go the superstar's way. So they did all that stuff, but I'm with you. I mean, to me, it's a 25-point win, a 50-point win, a 1-point win, and I think the Celtics are looking at it like this. It is 1 game to 0, and now it's almost like a clean slate with LeBron. If you watch his press conference afterwards, he's not worried. I mean, this guy went in to Oracle in Game 7 of the NBA Finals and delivered. He was down 3-1 to the Golden State Warriors, so he's not worried. He's going to watch the film. I think what we're going to see more of is a lot more guy comes up, slips out of the screen, next guy comes up, sets the screen, and now LeBron's going at you with a full head of steam. If the Celtics can stop LeBron from getting that full head of steam, which I don't think he had it in Game 1. I think he was looking, he was probing, he wasn't getting downhill like we were so accustomed to him doing. If I think his adjustment is, I'm going to see if I can get to the lane, full head of steam downhill, and make plays from there. But Celtics right now, they did a great job with Cavaliers shooters, and they've had practice. They did the same thing in Milwaukee, and they made a huge emphasis of it against Philly. So along the way, they've had some practice of guarding this. But I expect, everyone should expect LeBron to be one of those special performances.
Talking to Brian Scalabrine in the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, was that LeBron James probing the bit of, I know we've heard people call the performance lethargic, is that in your mind more calculated or more result of the layoff that also saw the Cavaliers shooters go 0 from beyond the arc in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that because they've had some great game ones with layoffs, and they've had some bad ones. I was a part of the 2011 Chicago Bulls that we matched up with Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it was the same sort of thing. LeBron was sort of probing, almost like a heavyweight boxer in the first 2 rounds, feeling it out, and then all of a sudden you see the adjustments he makes. Like, I don't think that we talk enough about his brilliance as a player. Like, I get it. Like, a lot of people in the general media or even like general fans, they reference LeBron as a beast. This guy's a beast. He's so physically gifted. I think the difference is he's like so mentally gifted. Like yesterday, that question, which is the standard behavior for LeBron, he like, and in a game where there's 105 possessions, he nailed off like the eight possessions in a row before timeout. So the guy is a brilliant, brilliant player. He's going to go back and watch the film. He's going to figure out what they have to do to be better. And it's going to be a matter of like how much can he dominate the Celtics one-on-one without the Celtics being in rotation. Because if you start getting in rotation with LeBron, he will pick you apart.
Yeah, Brian Scalabrine with us. To that point about him probing and finding another way, the last 5 times he's lost the first game in an Eastern Conference playoff, he's gone on to win that series every time. So You're right, he does make those adjustments. But Brad Stevens, Brian, has been making great adjustments all season long without Gordon Hayward, obviously, and then down the stretch without Kyrie. What is it that you see covering the Celtics and doing the games night in and night out that has made Brad Stevens such a great coach this year?
All right, so it's pretty clear when a lot of people don't talk about defensive players. They mention them, but they don't give like the respect of good defensive players in this league. So first of all, like you can get a bunch of bad offensive players, good defensive players, and you won't win. But here's what Brad does. Like everybody in the NBA has a strength. And so now we should give credit to the player like Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, those guys for guarding your yard. Like he doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to come up with defensive schemes to figure out guys who can't check just to put guys out there on the offensive end. When you look at this team, all these guys are hard-nosed defensive players. So now he focuses on offense, and he puts guys in great position to be successful. Let me give you an example. Let's use like a Shane Larkin who kind of like with high pick, he bounced out of the league, he played in Europe, he comes back. Now, he's not in this series because he's hurt so far, but maybe he comes back. Like Shane Larkin is a phenomenal player at getting to his right hand. He sets you up left to right. So when he coaches Shane Larkin, he makes all the plays for Larkin to get to his right hand, and he knows that this guy shoots better from the right corner versus the left, so just insert that guy to that spot. So once you're maximizing everybody's talents in the NBA, right, they're all NBA players, they're all good at something, you're maximizing all those talents and you're hiding the weaknesses, that's what makes him a great coach. So offensively, that's how they're able to have the nights that they're having. You know, Jason Tatum starting the year being a three-point shooter with just catch and shoot. As the year's gone on, he's developed his pick-and-roll game, and Brad never just said, here's the ball, go run 35 pick-and-rolls for us. It incrementally happens throughout the year. They want something from him, they develop something from him, then they use something from him. And that's the way it sort of works with the Celtic coaching staff and how they incrementally get guys to get better, like a Terry Rozier, who started when he was a rookie, you know, back and forth from the D League and up, and then all of a sudden now he's in the position because they know they have a plan, they work with the player, they get the player to commit to the plan, and that's sort of what makes him a great coach.
Brian, off the NBA and on a personal level for you, the Big Three season kicks off in June in Houston. What's been the draw for you and other former players to want to be involved in this?
I got tired of beating up guys in my rec league and the YMCA league, and so let me just say, like I'm only comfortable when I'm the worst player on the court. Like I don't like to go out there and drop 40 and win by 20. I like when I get back in my car and I drive home, it's like unfulfilling to me. So now I go to the Big Three, I get back to where I feel comfortable again, averaging like 3.5, 4 points a game and struggling to play well again. Now it's like the fight is on. I gotta get my body work and I gotta like get back into the gym. Like that's the stuff that drives me, not, stroking my ego in my YMCA league. But besides that, I'll tell you what, the guys, they're unbelievable when you're talking about like hanging out in the locker room or the year before, the night before when we're going out to dinner. But then when we get out there, it is like highly competitive basketball and guys want to win. And I think Fox does a great job of miking us up so you can hear a lot of kind of the trash talk. I didn't know game one that we were live mic the whole time. I got to totally watch what I say. So that's just sort of the entertainment side of it. And these cities that we go in, it's such a great environment. I think Ice Cube, based off of, being in the entertainment industry, definitely knows how to put on an awesome show when we come into the cities. And the idea that you can watch 4 games and each one ends sort of like on a buzzer beater, there's a lot of great things about it. But for me, it was that whole, like, I'm tired of doing the rec league thing. I want to get back and play against some high-level competition, and it's been that way.
And that's why he's one of the captains of the Ball Hogs.
There you go.
The Big Three season kicks off in June. Brian, we appreciate you being with us this morning. Thanks.
Thanks, Brian.
You got it, guys. See ya.
Golic.
I tell you what, a great sports night last night, no doubt about it.
And Wingo.
What a day, what a show, what a time.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him, "Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash." His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So it was all good.
Golic and Wingo, ESPN Radio and ESPN News, presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic Jr., Trey Wingo here with you. We've got a lot to get into. We've got Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in the NBA tonight. Hashtag actual finals. And we also have a recap of what happened in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to talk to Brandel Chambly a little bit, talking about the Players' Championship and how Webb Simpson regained his putting stroke after finally having to learn how to putt without the anchored putter, which was banned a couple of years ago, and also what Tiger Woods was able to do. But before we get to all of that, we have something big.
Yes, we do.
We have something big to share with America.
Let's just do it, shall we?
We're going to do it. Now, listen, here we go. We've got all these sounders to help us make this announcement. Let's see which one we like.
Okay.
You ready? Here's the first one.
The Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
Like that one?
That's
beautiful.
How about this one?
The Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
If we want bad, that's at the top.
That one's so bad it's
Jerry's
good.
got a great voice.
Jerry can do everything.
The Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
And then our last option.
I like the echo.
Golic Wingo Leadership Retreat.
That one might be the clubhouse winner. We got one more. Hold on, one more.
Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
What was the difference between 4 and 5?
There was no difference.
This all sounds like a reimagined ending to the movie Fantasia.
Yeah.
I almost like that one.
The last one?
Yeah.
Okay, so there, ladies and gentlemen, we have an announcement about the
Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
I like that.
Yes.
Here we go.
We are wasting corporate money, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Would you like to explain?
Here is the actual name of it, of what we're doing.
Yes.
It's the Golic and Wingo off-site, all-hands, town hall, leadership retreat, strategy session, golf tournament.
Correct.
So that's what we're doing it.
That's what we're doing. We're doing this at Pinehurst, North Carolina, baby.
So here's
the Pinehurst Resort.
Here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Starting today until Friday, May 25th.
Yes.
You can enter. And you get one entry only. One entry. So make it a good one. And here you go. To enter, what you need to be doing is you have to follow at Golic and Wingo handle. And when you submit your tweet, you have to tag the at Golic and Wingo handle and use the hashtag golf with GW contest. Again, that hashtag is golf with GW contest. And you tweet it at Golic and Wingo. You can either do just a written tweet. You can do a photo tweet.
Or
etymology. Or a video tweet. Whatever you feel will get you in. And we'll get you to be one of the, how many winners do we have? Four winners. Four winners. And here's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's not just you as a winner.
No.
Do you get to bring a friend?
Yes.
Why, yes.
Do you get to bring two friends?
Why, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
4 winners. 4. Each winner can bring 2 guests to a lovely, lovely time.
And let's explain where we're going. Okay, we're going to the Pinehurst Resort, which is the cradle of golf in America. It's fantastic. You'll be greeted by our corporate shuttle, swept off to a welcome reception. Then you'll have testing your business acumen, and then you'll get a chance to show off your skills at Pinehurst's infamous short course, the Cradle, along with the 18 holes on the most premier course anywhere, Pinehurst number 2.
Yes.
So you got to bring your A game. Flights, hotel, meal, swag, golf. We've got it covered. Now it's up to you to earn your way toward this coveted golf weekend. And again, we're doing this as a corporate thing, as a premise.
Yes.
We're really just going to drink beer and play golf.
No.
I was going to say, you could talk all about the cradle of golf civilization and all these awesome things, but at the end of the day, we're here to get drunk outside.
Whoa.
No, we're here to play golf.
All right.
This is just, we found a way
to get drunk outside.
To squeeze the company and get some rounds of golf.
have somebody else pay for it.
There you go.
That's
so
beauty.
It's really going to be about playing
guys, maybe you should talk a little bit about the leadership portion of this retreat. Is there a mission statement for this thing?
Yeah,
Yes.
Our mission statement is,
of course,
to find out how well you can handle stressful situations while imbibing.
In a team environment where you have to rely on
the person next to you.
Yep.
And therefore, making your business better.
How to operate on a show where 2 of the 3 hosts have difficulty reading normal-size fonts.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Also, how to make sure that you don't feel like the third uncle in the Golic family reunion every morning.
There you go.
Yep.
That's the mission statement.
That's the mission statement.
It's a working mission statement.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's a working title. So, but we may change it.
But here's the deal. Yeah. Again, 4 winners, and you get to bring 2 people with you. So you have 3 people, right? And each of those 4 threesomes will have added to them. Trey will be in one of them. I will be in one of them. Junior will be in one of them. And Stu Gotts will be in one of them.
We're thinking about Stu
Right now, Stu Gotts is going to be in one. He can work his way out of this trip
very easily.
But right now, it's kind of a marriage between the 2 shows.
Because, look, this all came about when Stu Gotts was on the show with us, and we decided, hey, we need to play golf. And then I said, well, why don't we do some sort of corporate retreat?
Yep.
Because they do these retreats, leadership, learn how to work with others, do your trust falls and all this kind of stuff. It's really just to get away.
There will be falling down at this.
No, and plenty of leadership building activities. I got a list full of them.
What do you got?
Tallest tower, plane crash, the human knot.
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what any of these mean.
Are.
They sound kind of dangerous. The human knot's a little too close to human centipede for my liking.
Yeah, you're
right.
But
you get a lot of great stuff along with this in addition to those activities. The 3-day, 2-night trip to the Pinehurst Resort in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Round trip airfare for you and your 2 guests. Premium accommodations at the resort, including hotels and meals. You'll get to play the famous Pinehurst number 2.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and the Cradle, which is the short course.
So here's the deal again.
Yeah.
4 winners. And what you need to do to win, you can start today, and it goes through Friday, May 25th.
But you can only enter once.
One entry.
Time.
So make it a good one. You have to follow at Golic and Wingo. Submit your tweet, tag at Golic and Wingo, and use the hashtag golf with GW contest. Your tweet, again, can just be a text. It can be words, it can be a picture, or it can be a video. And we will pick the 3 winners after these 2 weeks. So one entry, make it a good one, and we are going to have a fantastic work retreat. And I have the
air quotes on work?
Quotes.
Yeah, because we're basically playing golf. Here's why these things are important, because every submission will be judged by the following criteria.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity,
right?
Attitude,
right?
Tone,
right?
And the spirit of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're looking for.
You know what I like is the out-of-the-box thinking.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you
only get one shot, so
one
make
shot.
It count.
Get yourself noticed.
Not throwing away your shot here. Okay, so again, huge announcement. We're going to have fun. It's going to be really about beer and playing golf.
Well, yes, in a leadership kind of way. We have to say leadership every now and then.
All right. We're going to have to do that every once in a while.
Okay.
All right, let's get to what's trending now, ladies and gentlemen. And the Boston Celtics ripped off a 25-2 first-quarter run and went on to win Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 108-83. LeBron James did not play well.
So as I watched this game, and I watched a 29-point lead, and Cleveland's trying to come back, I thought to myself, okay, at the end of the third, how much can they be down? And they were only down 14, and I thought, all right, so here it is. You play poorly. Boston's playing well, very athletic, good defensively, just what we thought they were going to be. Cleveland not shooting well. A lot of that has to do with Boston. But here they are, 14 points down. Cut the lead to 14. What happens in the beginning of the fourth? Well, Boston, and just ask LeBron, he can break it down for you, scores the first 7 points. So basically it's ball game. But as I watched it and basically turned it off with about 6 minutes ago, said, all right, nothing really new here, nothing really to see here until after Game 2. Need to see what happens in Game 2 when everybody in the world is expecting LeBron. He'll put up 40-something, and can they get the win?
Yeah, it's really a situation where we didn't learn anything new in Game 1. It's hard to react too strongly to any one thing because everything about it was on brand for both sides involved, and we know that the tendency breaker, like you mentioned, comes up to Tuesday night.
Well, what's the old saying? Not a series until somebody loses on their home court. And Boston has a chance to make sure that doesn't happen again. But you mentioned we'll see what happens in the next game. LeBron's level of concern after Game 1?
I have 0 level of concern at this stage. I didn't go to college, so it's not March Madness. You get better throughout the series. You see ways you can get better throughout the series. But I've been down 0-1. I've been down 0-2. I've been down before in the postseason. But for me, there's never no level of concern, no matter how bad I played tonight with 7 turnovers, how inefficient I was shooting the ball. Just as confident going into a series, no matter if it's a 0-0 series or I'm down 0-1. So we have another opportunity to be better as a ball club coming in Tuesday night, and we'll see what happens.
And listen, it's adjustment time, right?
Yep.
That's what he said. They'll watch the tape. They'll see what they can try next. Again, we had Brian Scalabrine on, former NBA player.
Celtics analyst.
Breaking it all down, basically saying that. He's going to break down the film with LeBron, see where they can attack, see what you can do. It isn't the NCAA tournament. It's not one and done. You get a whole series here. So if the Celtics do this again in Game 2, then I think they'll start to be a bit of a level of concern in Cleveland.
Right. Listen, the other, remember, because the Celtics have never lost a series when they go up 2-0.
Right.
They've never, it's never happened. So it's going to be critical. And LeBron has also won the last 5 Eastern Conference playoff series where he's lost the first game. So the Celtics got out to that huge lead and blew the doors off the Cavs in Game 1. Protecting the lead is brought to you by ADT. Considering home security, consider this. For 140 years, ADT has helped stop more crime than any other home security company. Visit ADT.com to learn more. What else is trending? Good news for Washington, D.C. area sports team, which has not been the status quo in any of their sports for a long, long time. But the Caps scored the final 5 goals and beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 6-2 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And they are up 2 games to love.
Listen, Ovechkin has 10 goals in the playoffs. John Carlson, a record for Capitals defenseman. He has 14 points. The Capitals, they lead the NHL in goals per game this postseason. They're scoring at a great rate. They're scoring the 2 games. They scored a power play goal within 10 seconds at the end of a period in both these games. So they got it going on scoring-wise. But for forgetting all of the numbers, it's impressive that they finally got over the hump of the Penguins, got to this next round, and are now not like the old happy to be there or take a little while to wake up. They went on the road and took both games in Tampa.
I mean, based on that road record, that's what we should expect at this point. The big question is, are they going to be able to do it at home?
Yeah, well, that was the problem in the Western Conference semifinals between Nashville and Winnipeg.
Right.
The road team won 5 of those 7 games, Winnipeg winning 3 in Nashville. But The Caps, again, 7-1 on the road this postseason, tying the team record for road wins in a postseason set by the 1997-98 squad, which did go on to the Stanley Cup final, and maybe, just maybe, Alexander Ovechkin, one of the great stars in the NHL, will finally have a chance to shine on the biggest stage, although Tampa Bay couldn't care less about that. They've got to try and find a way to win a game and get back into this series. Well, the New York Yankees, things continue to roll quite along. With nearly a quarter of a season in the books, the Yankees accomplished a franchise first on Sunday when DH Giancarlo Stanton dropped a home run over the right center field wall during their 6-2 win over the Oakland A's. He became the fourth Yankee this season to hit his 10th home run. Why is that significant, Mike?
It's significant. It's the first team with 4 players with 10 or more home runs in this few games into the season. It was the 40th game since 2003. The Rangers, Carl Everett, Juan Gonzalez, Rafael Palmeiro, who's still hitting baseballs, and A-Rod. They did it that year as well. But pretty impressive. Again, the Yankees got a 6-2 win. They won their 19th win in their last 22 games. Again, the boppers we knew they had. Now let's see how far they can go, but I'll continue to say it's been incredible pitching they've had as well.
Yeah, this is a reminder that amidst all of the turmoil at the start of the season, amidst all of our overreaction to every minute event and setback and Stanton slump, that they have done exactly what's been expected of them through the young portion of the season. And not only that, they've done it at a rate that we have not seen before and have not seen in Yankee uniform. So for them, that was living in their own way, living up to the lofty expectations we'd set.
By the way, I love this quote from Aaron Boone. Look, we have a really good lineup. Yeah, no lie.
Hey, thanks for that.
Appreciate that, Booney.
They're still in a flat-foot tie with the Boston Red Sox, and I'm really hoping in Brettomology we get the term flat-foot tie.
Although researcher Brett, when we said that last week, he said we don't take suggestions.
Yeah.
Brett is pretty.
By the way, we're very happy to have Riley back in the research seat and Brett not here.
Yes, a little less attitude.
That's exactly right.
Brett's head was getting too big for the researcher studio area. Could get through the door.
Riley's just going to get the job done, where Brett just wanted to be on air.
He just wanted to talk.
I'll be sure to pass that along.
Oh, no, Riley! Yes. There she goes. By the way, the significance of this, the Yankees have 4. They've never had 3. To have 10 home runs in this short of time. They have 4. It is amazing. But the interesting thing is how this plays out over the entire length of the season. Because as good as the Yankees have been, and great, like 19-3 in their last 22 games, they're still tied with the Boston Red Sox. So, this is great what the Yankees are doing, but the Red Sox have been doing this all season.
Yep.
It's really going to be interesting to see how this plays out going forward, because when you look at both of these lineups, you wonder which one is really built for the long haul. And that's the end of what's trending. Golic and Wingo, presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. You know what's also easier than ever?
What's that?
Sending a text message.
Yes, it is. Just because you care.
Just because you want to, and just because you can. And we finally had that big moment we were waiting through, guys. That thing that had to happen, which would break the ice for everything that's gone wrong so far in the early stages of the relationship between Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger and third-round draft pick Mason Rudolph. Ben sent him a text saying, "Good luck in minicamp, champ. We'll talk soon."
And this is news.
Yeah.
This is news somehow.
Is it?
Welcome to the offseason.
Is it?
Wow.
You know what? It's like any new relationship. You're not sure how soon you're supposed to text back and make that initial move. It's a lot, especially when you're a little bit, the age gap is wider there, so you've got some boundaries to overcome that exist naturally. I get it. Ben Roethlisberger is taking his time on this, and I think after a while he'll really warm up to Mason once he gets around him a little bit more. The rookies are still kind of separated at this point, so it's a big first step. I'm proud of him.
He basically
the sarcasm dripping off your microphone.
Yeah, no,
I just want you to know that.
Hopefully I'm laying it on thick enough.
What Mason Rudolph said was he reached out Thursday and said, "Hey, good luck in rookie minicamp." That's it.
Yeah, and then
Mason said, "I was really appreciative of that."
Yeah.
Now it should be were there? I'd like to know what was the
impetus.
What was there an emoji?
Was there a period?
Was there exclamation points?
And ellipse?
Did he put attach a GIF to it?
Yeah.
Was there something?
Did you say were there lips?
No, an ellipse.
Oh, an ellipse. Okay.
An ellipse, like the dot, like your world famous ...
Love
after
my dot.
that indicates maybe you're not really wishing him good luck.
Am I really wishing you luck, or am I not wishing you luck? Is this fake good luck?
See, this is.
Let's break down the text. We need to see it.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing, though, is this seems like a breakthrough relative to what is it with the AFC North in this right now? We've got Joe Flacco openly ignoring Lamar Jackson at this point in Baltimore, who, you know what, if anyone is going to be nervous and slighted, it should be Joe Flacco because he has not been very good for about the better part of the last 5 years.
Yeah, who's on a slipperier slope, Ben Roethlisberger or Joe Flacco? I think that we know the answer to that one. And Lamar was a first-round draft pick who, by the way, is absolutely going to see the field almost immediately with packages. There's no doubt they'll have some packages made up for him on certain situations, which I'm sure Flacco will not like, because when we talk about this with any other quarterback that doesn't move well, they get mad saying, wait a minute, why are you taking me off the field when I'm one of the better quarterbacks out here? But Lamar Jackson's absolutely, he may be the first one, unless Baker Mayfield wins that starting job or one of the other ones. Lamar Jackson may be the first one to see the field, albeit in kind of a made role for him as a versatile quarterback.
But this is interesting. People are so into what Ben Roethlisberger did or didn't send in a text and why he wasn't talking and learn your playbook and you're not going to do all this stuff. And he's entrenched as a starter. He's going to be fine. And Mason Rudolph was a third-round pick. The Ravens traded back in to the end of the first round to get Lamar Jackson, a former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and their quarterback, Joe Flacco, has struggled. Really ever since getting that big contract after winning Super Bowl 47 and going on that unbelievable postseason run, and yet we seem much more interested in Ben and Mason than we do in what's going on with Joe and
What's interesting
Lamar.
is you have Joe Flacco, and look at the two quarterbacks they have, Lamar and RG3. Who both can now, RG3, didn't run very well because he got hurt, but it's a quarterback with the ability to move. So you have two quarterbacks with the ability to do things on the run and make plays as they go along, and one in Joe Flacco that really can't do that.
Yeah, no, a lot of lead in those feet, but more than anything, it just highlights this idea that we all, despite wanting competitors and wanting people that will attack every situation with this hate for their opponent and all these different things. When we put that competition in-house and we put the age gap there, people all of a sudden assume, and there's been a lot of this assumption that every older player in the NFL must be a mentor to younger players, or this idea that there's there needs to be that kind of relationship in the quarterback room, especially for some reason that's been sort of interesting to watch unfold.
Look, here's why it's much more of a big deal in Baltimore. Joe Flacco's QBR was 43 last year. That was 23, 23rd out of 23rd on the list. Okay, that's not good, and it hasn't been good for a while.
But this is nice to see. Like, we're used to what is always the coddling that goes on with the quarterback position, where we say you don't want a great guy underneath because you don't want your quarterback feeling like he's looking over his shoulder. This is quarterbacks getting a taste of what every other position goes through every year in the draft, which is if they draft someone in the 4th round or above at your position, you start to look sideways because you understand that draft status. Those spots there mean they've got actual plans for them. This isn't a flyer. This is someone you seriously looked at. They're just getting a taste of how the other half lives now, and for whatever reason, that's being introduced into the quarterback market all at once. We saw it with Brady and Garoppolo play out in a big way last year, and now we're seeing it through the draft with these quarterbacks. Well,
not only that, but last year the Kansas City Chiefs went up and took Patrick Mahomes, and even before they had a workout, Alex Smith knew his time was up. And then he goes out and has the best season of his career, and they couldn't trade him fast enough for a guy in Patrick Mahomes who made one start last year. One start at the end of the season. And, oh, by the way, looked pretty good in that start.
Golic and Wingo.
It was all sort of one big, giant Jell-O mold. It's very interesting where that went.
Our next guest, who has the best hair in golf. NBC and the Golf Channel analyst, Brandel Chambly with us. Brandel, what's up, dude?
Well, I think Robert Rock would take exception with that, but thank you. It's good. Nice talking to you guys.
I love the fact that you just threw out a Robert Rock reference. For those that
I
don't
just figured
know,
I'd go deep in the woods with you with golf.
Yeah, Robert Rock is an English tour player that had a decent run at a couple of U.S. Opens back in 2010 and 2011 and hasn't been heard from since. You just dropped
I love
a
that
Robert
you know
Rock.
who that is.
Oh, come on. He did have great hair, but we'll move on from the hair discussion. And let's talk about the Players' Championship. Now, what is your biggest takeaway from what happened over this weekend? You can have Webb Simpson leading start to finish, Justin Thomas taking down DJ as number 1 in the world, or Tiger 10 under over the weekend. Your biggest takeaway from the Players is what?
That Tiger Woods is completely back, that all the questions that he was looking to answer, he would have answered over the weekend. I saw Tiger Woods driving the golf ball on the weekend that I have not seen since 2000, and that's a run. I mean, that's 18 years of golf that he played very well in, but he was always sort of playing around a missed shot. He's back. I've never seen him swing the golf club. Well, I haven't seen him swing the golf club this well since 2000.
Let me play devil's advocate on this, Brandel, if you don't mind.
Because Golic is Satan, just so you know.
So, and we heard Michael Collins talking about it, about playing not so well on Thursday and Friday, maybe the pressure of trying to make the cut, of which he just made, and then obviously shooting great on Saturday when he wasn't really in it. He was more of relaxed playing. And then Sunday, he got to within 4. And what happened then? He didn't play so well. And this, I guess it all ties in. I guess I'm saying with his 14 majors, he never did it coming from behind. He always was either tied for the lead or in the lead. So when we say back, are we saying ready to possibly be at that level again, in which he has not done it coming from behind? So there's still kind of that hanging there.
Yeah, there is. And that's a good question. I tend to think he's very analytical by nature. So people who are analytical by nature don't start particularly well in golf tournaments, but they just come off 3, 4, 5 days or 2 weeks of working on their golf swing. So it takes a little while for them to figure out, oh, this is not about golf swing, it's about scoring. He's had a history of that. And that's one of the reasons why Butch Harmon was such a great ballast for Tiger Woods' analytical tendencies. Same thing true with Hank Haney. The reason it wasn't so much the technique that he had under Butch and Hank, it was that they were a ballast to his analytical tendencies. So beyond that, I'll just say that I think Tiger Woods had some swing issues over the first 3-4 months. And I do believe he made giant strides after the Genesis, going into the Honda, because he figured out how to have some semblance of order with his golf swing. But whatever order was lacking from there, he would have figured out over the last couple of days. Fully convinced that he'll go forward. And yeah, to your question on Saturday, I agree with you. I agree that he got himself into position and that he didn't hit the necessary shots coming down the stretch. Same thing's true on Sunday, with the exception that he did hit the necessary shots. He hit a great drive at 14, hit a great drive at 15. And again, 17 is one of the reasons I don't like the hole at all. It's the most dangerous and unpredictable spot in all of golf. You can get up there and make a little mistake and be punished in a way that you didn't deserve. So I don't completely discount what happened there on 17, but nor do I think it's that big a deal. I think, as I was watching yesterday, it occurred to me many, many times that I was watching the best player in the world when I was watching Tiger Woods. I have not thought to myself that he could win a major championship other than the Masters until yesterday. And then watching him, I thought he can win any single major championship he plays in.
Talking to Brandel Chambly on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. So would you say you have much more confidence in him coming out of this than the winner in Webb Simpson, who played a great weekend and had a record-setting weekend, but understanding in the context of his season, it was sort of atypical as far as fairways and regulation, as far as his ability to hit greens. Yeah. Are we looking at this as just an outlier for Webb Simpson, or is this something he can take and parlay into more wins?
Yeah. Again, if there were 10 golf courses a year that asked and held a player accountable for their tee shots, then I would look at Webb Simpson. Look, Webb's unbelievable, and this is a nice spur for him, no question. He figured out his putting issues. He drove the ball beautifully. But there are just not that many golf courses on the PGA Tour that hold you accountable for the tee shot. He led the field in fairways hit. Fairways hit is very important at the Players' Championship. But it's a different test than everywhere else. I mean, this is like going in for a weightlifting competition and being, all of a sudden you've got to take the MCATs. It's like, what? I'm sorry, what? What are we doing? We got to hit fairways? That's important this week? And that's why the Players' Championship always gives us sort of an odd winner that we didn't see coming. It's just a completely different test, and it's set up entirely different than they're typically asked to play.
All right, so, yeah, but the interesting thing is we're talking to Brandel Chambly about Webb is, he was one of those guys that used the anchored putter, the long putter for so long, and that's how he won the 2012 U.S. Open at Olympic. I think the last 2 years, he was, 154th and 177th on tour in putting. It seems like a lot of those guys, Adam Scott's won a couple of times, but it does seem a lot of those guys that had the long anchored putter have really struggled trying to find their stroke with the shorter putter. And for Webb, that was the big breakthrough here.
No question. These were stars that were relegated to, relative obscurity with this anchoring ban. Adam Scott, it's still a beautiful golf swing, and he finished 11th, tied with Tiger Woods this week. We hardly talked about him. But he hasn't really knocked on the door in major championships since the Anchor ban went in. Keegan Bradley's 205th in strokes gained putting. So to see someone find a way out of the madness without losing their mind was amazing, because this anchoring ban took away from them something that they could do that was very important to the game, and they were pretty much all of them banished to the back of the strokes gained putting statistics. So yeah, I mean, I look at the method that he used that got him out of it, and it's brilliant, no question about it. But sort of the overriding theme was how important attitude is to doing that, because he never got disgusted. He never started denigrating those who made the decision to introduce the anchoring ban. He just went to work, and I joked. I said it took longer to build the Eiffel Tower, or a shorter period of time to build the Eiffel Tower than it did for him to build a putting stroke that would sort of alleviate the stress. But it was amazing to watch, because he led the field in putting, and he's putting better now than he ever did before. So it gives hope to everybody who's struggling with the anchor ban.
And as far as Tiger, and we know certainly in his heyday, he played select tournaments, didn't play every week. Now, because he's been off for a while and coming back, should he be playing in more tournaments to get more tournament play and more reps?
I think he'll be tempted to play in more tournaments, because I think he was limited and liked to play golf courses where he could get away with driving the ball poorly, and that's why he plays so well at the Farmers. Because he could drive it far enough to get past the bunkers, but he could also drive it so far down there that the rough wasn't any penalty at all. Same thing's true at Bay Hill. Same thing is true at Doral. Same thing's true at Memorial, where the fairways are huge. So I think now then that he's got this new toy, which is being able to hit these unbelievably beautiful fade drivers and these high draw drivers. He's got this new toy, and he wants to take it out for a ride. And, it's really fun to watch. It's very compelling. It's a different Tiger Woods than we've ever sort of seen before.
Well, with all that in mind, as we're talking to Brandel Chambly, when he finished well at the Honda and you joined us, and we asked, when do you think he's going to win? And you said the next tournament he played in. He came close, but he didn't win.
Yes.
Now you're saying he's completely back. So are you thinking right now, going into the next major, which would be at Shinnecock on Long Island, that he's going to be the favorite?
Yes, in my mind he is.
Your mind is all that matters,
Sunday.
Brandel.
What's that?
Your mind is all that matters.
Well, my wife would probably argue with you there, and she'd have valid points. So would many mutual friends of ours. But in my mind, I saw him just with a fluency that I hadn't seen before, and I saw him with the freedom. Like yesterday, if you were watching on 14, Tiger has historically struggled with that tee shot. Now, granted, a lot of people have as well, but Tiger Woods is supposed to be impervious to these trivial matters. He's supposed to be the greatest player of all time, and he's always gotten up there and either snap-hooked it in the water when he won in 2013 or missed it wide right on the mount. It's a very difficult driving hole. Yesterday he hit it 354. He swung as hard as he could. The second he hit the tee ball, he was bending down to pick his tee up, which, it tells me that he completely confident when he got onto that tee. And that was a shot that was going to plague him in major championships, not just there, but well down the line in every single other major championship. He solved the chipping issues. His iron play is right up there with the best, if it's not the best on the PGA Tour. He's putting beautifully. And I think all that was missing is, look, he's human, and he needs a confident boost like everybody else. Confidence doesn't just materialize out of thin air. You have to be able to hit the shots, and then that validates everything that you're working on to where you walk around with your chest puffed up.
Well, we'll find out if it plays out next month at Shinnecock. Brandel, always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for being on the show.
Brandel.
Likewise. Appreciate it. Nice talking to you all. Take care.
Golic and Wingo.
Let's not expect too much. There's only one person out there that's expecting way too much out of this guy too early. We know who that is. It's his father.
AARP can help you become your healthiest self. It's why we offer health tips for your body and your brain. So take on today and every day with AARP. Learn how at takeontoday.aarp.
Amin is here. And before we get into the game tonight and what happened in Game 1, the fact that Dwayne Casey was fired over the weekend. Yeah. I mean, the Raptors have 3 50-win seasons in franchise history, all 3 of them under Dwayne Casey. And now he voted Coach of the Year by his peers, and he's out of a job. Is that ridiculous to you?
Yeah, it is ridiculous because I think there's only 2 reasons to fire a coach. Either A, you have someone in mind that you know, oh, this guy's way better as a coach, or B, you think that this guy hasn't gotten the most out of this roster. I defy anyone to look at that roster and say there's more than 59 wins there.
Exactly.
It just doesn't. And when you take into context, the big thing is they changed their entire playbook. They shredded their playbook and put in a new system and expanded their rotation. And this was year one of that.
Right.
If you want to say they could have done better in the playoffs, fine. But understand, this is year one of them doing things the new way. And with every team that has a new playbook, year after year, the wrinkles get a little bit more. You get a little bit more nuanced and deeper into that and the nuance of the playbook. And so there was that. And then his playing of really young players, Van Fleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam. These are guys who are young. I mean, they're still in their first or second year in the league. Give them a couple of years for them to get stronger, for them to get more skilled, for them to get more comfortable with what we're doing here as a team. I think all those things showed that Toronto it wasn't trending downwards. It's trending upwards, if anything. Is it a future as bright as Philadelphia or Boston? No, but that's not a coaching issue.
Right.
That's a personnel issue.
So with the young players, are we to the point, like when we had Aaron Boone hired for the Yankees, it's like the new baseball, the numbers, nobody goes by their gut anymore. So what does the book say? You heard in New York them talk about Fizdale. Well, he's a player's guy, can relate to the players. Is that now what we're looking for? Is that what's going to happen in Toronto and some of these other hirings we still have as well in Milwaukee and such? It's now we got to get these coaches that are relatable to these younger players?
Well, I think that's kind of almost a prereq now for all coaches. If you count on your hand the number of coaches who are taskmasters, right? The so-called hard nose or hard other things.
Right.
Pop, he's been there 100 million years. Rick Carlisle, he's been there a long time too. Name another one.
They're the outliers.
Everyone
right?
else, this is who we're coaching. We're not coaching guys who are born in 79, 80, 81. We're coaching guys who are born in 89, 90, 91, 92, and even younger. Those guys came up being taught a different way. And so your job as a coach is not to say my way or the highway. It's to say, how do I get through to this guy? What's the best means? And communication it's necessary, but that doesn't mean that X's and O's aren't necessary. That doesn't mean attention to detail and holding people accountable aren't necessary. Those all matter too.
Man, how much do we hear all the old-time players screaming from their porches right now, huh?
Right? I mean,
God forbid we. Well, I guess it was the Shaq and Barkley fight that they had.
Google me, Chuck. Google me.
But you know what's funny about that? That's a typical locker room conversation.
Yeah.
So I watched it, I laughed, I moved on. Next day, it's a huge talking point. So what's going on?
It was just hilarious.
It's hilarious, but for a lot of people, that's, oh my goodness, this is a professional environment. Like, that's what they talk like all the time when the cameras aren't on.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what makes that show great.
Yes.
Is that they do that.
Right.
By the way, you're dropping basketball knowledge over here, and I'm looking at the corner of my eye. Everybody behind the glass, they're dying to get ready for this Family Feud stuff.
Oh yeah, look at that.
They are all in on what's coming up in a few minutes. We'll get to that.
Boy.
But after game one, total lemon by the entire Cavaliers team, including LeBron James, played terrible, 15.7 turnovers. He says his level of concern is 0.
Yeah.
What's your level of concern?
If not 0, very close to it.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the Cavs, first of all, that first opening 7-8 minutes was tough. And then you're in a hole, and now you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole. And they got good shots. I mean, if you look at they've shot 4 for 26 from 3 for the game. In the first half, they're 1 for 12, and I believe most of those were uncontested or lightly contested. So this is a team, by the way, that was top 5 in the NBA 3-point percentage. So they shoot 1 for 12. I'm going to guess, look, that's not going to happen again, especially when they get good looks. You know, the big misnomer that people think is, if I shot 1 for 12 from 3, that means you defended me very well.
Right.
No. Yeah. If you defended me well from the 3, I wouldn't have attempted 12 shots. Right. I would have drove and had to look for something else. And so, if you're LeBron, you're saying, oh, we got the shots we wanted. We didn't make them. No big deal. There's just a little things I think tweaking they can do, in terms of taking advantage of. Boston is a very switch-happy team. They want to switch everything. But they're unlike a team like the Warriors or the Rockets that like to switch everything. They don't have a zillion 6'8", 6'9" guys. They've got guys like Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, and then their big guys, Aaron Baines, Al Horford. They're not so good at keeping guys in front of them, not as much as a wing guy would be. So I think there's ways that the Cavs can take advantage of that better than they did in Game 1. But the other part of it, if they make their shots, we're not even having that conversation.
And will part of Game 2 be what we saw when Game 2 of the Pacers and Cavaliers, where all of a sudden LeBron was hitting shots but driving like crazy as well to try and create? I mean, is this everybody waiting for this big thunder punch coming?
You know, it's weird because, like I said, they've got good wings. So they're going to try and get those switches. And when they got switches, he had Rozier on his hip a bunch of times. He had Smart on his hip. Those are all opportunities for them, not for him to post up and be Shaq, but to make that defense collapse. And now we're throwing it on. Now we're teeing off on the 3-point line. The other thing is, I love, they did it a couple times last night, but not enough. Using LeBron off ball as a screener, because that creates a whole different mentality for the defense. So, do I stay with my man? Do I stick with LeBron? It's really something that Golden State does very well with Steph Curry as a screener, because when he sets a screen, the guy guarding him can't leave him.
Right.
But then you have to respect the guy with the ball who's actually driving, using him as a screener. So what do? I think all of those kind of mental stresses is what you have to put on a defense as fine as Boston's, because if you make it easy for them where it's just one-on-one and some guy's going to help, that's not good enough.
Amin Elhassan with us in studio. By the way, I do have to give it up for Marcus Morris, who said, I'm going to be the best defender of LeBron since Kawhi. And he did. He went out there and did it, man. Kudos to him. But you mentioned Steph Curry and the screens. Let's talk about Game 1 tonight in the Western Conference Finals. We both believe if Houston loses Game 1, this series is over. Because the whole thing, Daryl Morey, the GM for the Rockets, has put it out there. We are obsessed with finding ways to beat the Warriors. They fought, they scrapped, they got home court advantage, and if they go out and lose it in Game 1, I don't think it'd be as demoralizing as what the Cavs did to the Raptors, but it would be a body punch.
Yeah, I mean, it's a body punch because you're losing. It's not like Cavs Raptors where there was such a huge disparity between the two teams, at least on paper in the regular season. Everyone knows the Warriors are really good, and you can't give them an inch. The key to defeating the Warriors is you have to do everything right and then hope they do enough things wrong, because, as my buddy Brian Windhorst likes to say, they have the largest margin of error in the history of the NBA.
Correct.
They can play terrible for 43 minutes, and then in the last 5 minutes, blow open the game just like
out,
that.
Yeah.
So they can't afford giving them a 1-zip lead and giving up home court advantage. But again, Houston is obviously a lot better than Toronto is, and they do have a lineup that is geared to defending the Warriors, at least. Again, going back to switching, you got Trevor Ariza and PJ Tucker and Luke Richard and Bamute and Eric Gordon and Chris Paul. These are all plus defenders, and they all switch. And Clint Capella, how could I forget? They all switch everything, and I think that's the basis of what you need to stop the Warriors. I'm not saying it's going to work,
right?
But I think that's the bare minimum to get in the door. You have to have a bunch of dudes like that.
Can Capella get taken out of this though with that? With the lineup that Golden State can throw out there?
Hampton's 5 lineup.
Yeah.
Because he's got to either guard Durant or Draymond Green. And if he's guarding Draymond Green, he's basically guarding the point guard. Draymond runs point for them.
Mm-hmm.
He runs a lot of pick and roll action. And if he's a screener and Capella's guarding Draymond as a screener, they like to pitch it to Draymond, and then he dribbles and makes passes to guys on the wings and the corners. That's tough. The other thing also, I think, a guy like, this is going to sound crazy, a guy like Kevon Looney, just putting a body on him. He's stout. He's not really tall, but he's really long and stout. I think Capella, obviously, he's not physically dominant, but he's active and energetic and a great athlete. And those type of guys, if you can keep them grounded, it really reduces their effectiveness.
So you go with Hampton 5 over the.
That's
the
what I was going to
line?
ask. What's the better one? Because Steve Kerr can't stand that Hampton's 5 thing. Do you like the death lineup, Hampton 5?
Well, the death lineup was Harrison Barnes.
Yeah,
and so you got to have something different.
Got to go different,
right?
Go
different
exactly.
It's
I
not
agree
the
with
same
that.
lineup.
I agree.
So we got a new thing, and Hampton 5 it fits their personality because it's like, oh, look at these. They're the rich kids that everyone hates.
Right.
They're the bad team in all those Mighty Ducks movies.
Yeah.
Right? Evil team, right?
Draymond's got to hate that though. He doesn't want to be considered rich and soft. He likes to agitate too much.
Well, I think along with being rich, there's a lot of
that's true.
There's a lot of benefits to that.
He is rich as well as that.
I was about to say there's not a lot of downside for any of those guys at this point.
The evil team in Mighty Ducks. Those kids were rich, but they weren't soft. They played dirty. And
that's true.
That's who the Warriors are.
It's just so funny. The Hampton's 5. Golic and Wingo presented by 1-800-Flowers.com. Life's special events call for a beautiful bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you order a bunch of Gerbera daisies starting at $29.99, you'll also get a free vase. For details, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. All right, Junior has stormed back in.
Yes, he has.
Because we're doing the feud.
Yeah, we are.
We want to see if we can steal Amin Elhassan.
Again,
the Baloney
it's
Boys
gonna
are
be-
back.
I already got a text from a 954 area code saying traitor.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on.
It's
Again,
in South Florida.
this is going to happen. Golic and Wingo against the Le Batard Show in Family Feud. We're just trying to get the teams.
We're trying to figure out our best lineup. We're trying to get our Hamptons 5.
Yeah.
Is what we're trying
there
to do.
There you go.
All right, so how are we doing this?
So I'm going to take Amin through a fast money round. We've got the fast money questions queued up here.
Now, are we timing him? He gets 20 seconds, right?
I'll have the time. Amin doesn't have an IFB, so he won't be able to hear. I'll beep you when we're at the limit of this 20 seconds. So you understand the rules here. The clock is going to begin as soon as I read the first question.
As soon as he reads the first question is
over. As soon as I finish reading the first question.
That's baloney.
So you can say, the baloney boys have some beef with you that we'll take up later.
Here we go.
All right, Amin, are you ready?
I am.
All right. Tell me what's usually the movie rating of your favorite movies?
PG.
All right. How many nights a week do you watch TV news?
3.
Name your favorite fattening food.
Ice cream.
Name an award show.
Oscars.
Name someone you stand up for when they enter a room.
Just so you know, I wrote down all my answers, too.
It took me a while to figure out what you were asking there.
Oh, that's a shame.
I was going to say, my wife?
Okay, so we got him?
Yeah, we got him.
The first answer was what?
By the way, classic move by me. I asked him the set of questions that was different from the one I came in. I'm planning on asking.
There you go. Good job.
Not nearly as good of questions, but we work with what we got. So the first question was, what's usually the movie rating of your favorite movie? You said
PG.
And I said PG-13. That's what I wrote down.
PG was the number 2 answer. It's good for 32 points.
32 points.
Okay. What was number 1 answer? R.
Really? All right, so you got 32.
Yep.
Right.
How many nights a week do you watch TV news? Your answer was
3.
And I said 4.
3 is the number 3 answer.
Wow.
Good for 10 points. Number 1 answer, 5.
Really?
Wow.
I don't believe
America, you're lying.
You have to take into account that most people are lying when they take these.
Absolutely lying.
Third question.
Third question. Name your favorite fattening food. You said
ice cream.
Number 1 answer.
Yeah.
32 points.
Well.
How many?
32 points.
32 points.
Oh,
Wow.
man. I'm going to lose with this last question.
Name an award show.
No, you get it right here.
You said the Oscars. Number 1 answer. The Academy Awards. 55 points.
Whoa!
Wow.
So, gonna make up for your goose egg in the last question. You didn't need it. You did your job. You cracked 100, correct?
Oh,
139.
139. There we go.
139.
Right.
In.
And for just because the last one, I wrote down president.
Number 1 answer.
Thank
the
you.
president.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
glad I didn't see my wife then.
No, I bet your wife would have been happy.
That would have been a very acceptable
He chose
answer.
me over the president.
So let's get this straight. In the lightning round, you have 2 players that have to get to 200 points.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't even you gassed on one question, and you still got 139 points.
Well, like some people.
129.
Some people in South Florida don't really respect the talents that I bring to the table. They want to make fun of what I did in Taboo and all those other games down there.
See, they should know better by now. When you
being loved.
When you don't respect someone's talents in South Beach, they usually leave.
There you go. That's
I see
right.
what you did there. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Well, then he's taking his talents to Bristol. That's what it means.
Very impressive.
You saw the look on Amin's face when you said that.
Remote? Can we do a remote?
We're already doing that with our leadership conference.
Stugot's texting me now.
Oh, what is he saying?
He said, how is ESPYs not number 1?
Because
Oscars is.
Because Oscars is. That's right. All right.
Good job. Good job.
Love it. We're taking him.
You know what I hate?
One.
The problem is we just gave Levitard a free sampling, and they're going to want him now.
That's too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Wait. Who would you choose?
Bidding war.
Yeah.
Highest bidder. What you got? Shower me with gifts and praise.
Wow. Bonus question. How do you spell baloney?
Depends on the context.
There it is.
There it is.
My man.
I was going to say, that wasn't what you said over in the small room.
You didn't bring up context.
Lie.
There you go.
There you go.
Deli meat is spelled differently from...
Levitard show can have you.
There you go. Well, the good news is you don't make any of the decisions, so it doesn't really matter. He's on our squad. You may be gone.
This has been the Best of Golic and Wingo podcast. You can listen or subscribe on the ESPN app, Apple Podcasts, or just ask your smart speaker to play Golic and Wingo. Plus, you can check the guys out live weekday mornings from 6 to 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.